What's up, everybody? How's it going? So, man, here we are back again, saying goodbye to another great rock and roll legend, another great icon and influencer of the creative renaissance, Dickey Betts. Wow, man. A whole bunch of memories are coming back to me. Not that I grew up with classic rock, southern rock, but even in my short period of doing reactions, the Allman Brothers Band is a very, very hallowed place for me. And I'll get into that a little bit later, sharing some of the personal stuff. But yeah, every single time we lose one of these great influencers, it's as if a little bit of us is lost. So like a little bit of our cultural identity is lost. And I am feeling it for a lot of you old cats. I'm sure that you guys are very, very upset about this. My dad is upset about this. He's been on the road and he's watched these guys. He's rubbed shoulders with them, been within spitting distance of them, that sort of thing. And so, a lot of you old cats are really feeling this loss, and I feel it for you and with you. So this is what we'll do, man. First, I just want to give a shout out and a thank you for the alerts from Akachita and Al Petreni. Thanks to these two gents. And apologies for this coming a little on the late side. I've been very busy and on the road a lot, and I don't often check my various social media and private messages for some time. So yeah, it came a little bit late. This is what, the 28th, so it's 10 days after Dickey's passing. So apologies for the lateness. So Al Petreni has sent me a couple of links outlining a couple of things that he finds interesting. One is an interview with Dickey and WDHA's Box of Rock. And then there's an interview of Dickey's manager and a really good friend. And then we're going to have a live look at Jessica. And finally, a live look at Rambling Man. So, the great Dickey Betts. By the way, this is going to be a long reaction. It's 20 minutes of viewing stuff here, and then probably another 20 minutes of me just running my damn mouth. So, without further ado, let's check out this interview first with Dickey Betts. Let's get it.
Hi, it's Terry Carr, and you are inside DHA's Box of Rock, where we get you up close and personal with your favorite rockers. This week, I sit down with a legend, the one and only Dickey Betts. We talk about his band, Great Southern, his time in the Allman Brothers Band, those amazing songs, and we began our chat with me asking Dickey if he minds being called a legend.
No, you can call me that all the time if you want. No,
I want to talk to you.
It's a little embarrassing sometimes, but I'm getting to the age now that you kind of get grateful for it.
Some people don't like it, but you know what? There's no other way to refer to you. You are the guy. I think back to the music, and I think back to those songs, and I think back to the inventor of the dual melodic guitar harmony sound. And I always thought if I ever had the opportunity to sit down with you, I wanted to find out, how did that sound come to be back in the day when you were, Richard Betts, putting out your first record?
Well, one of my mentors was a Western swing guitar player, and for those that aren't familiar with Western swing, which is most of you, it's like a Texas jazz. It's like the Benny Goodman band or something, but they got a Texas kind of swing to it. It's for the higher echelons of musicians, and they always had 5 horns, and 3 fiddles and twin guitars and steel guitar and all that. And they played what's called Texas swing, like San Antonio Rose, remember that song? Stuff like that. Well, one of my guitar mentors, I won't say a teacher because I never took lessons, but he kind of brought me along, and he was a famous Western swing player. And that's kind of where, and my dad was a fiddle player. Yeah. So I don't know, when I had bands of my own, well, we played harmony and stuff like that in the bands, you know, like use the guitars like a horn section, you know. And that's where I think that's where the influence on the Allman Brothers Band came from. You know, Dwayne was more of an urban blues purist, you know, and I had that kind of Texas
Great
thing.
Dwayne Allman.
Well, talk to me a little bit about, the songs, the iconic songs, In Memory of Elizabeth and Blue Sky and Ramblin' Man and Jessica. What was the inspiration for that you don't know? I know Jessica was written about your daughter, but where did that flow come from, man?
I don't know. I could just hear the songs in my mind if I concentrated and just kept playing melodies that would come to me. It seemed like there was a right and a wrong, and so when it felt right, you know, you'd go ahead and kind of print that, and
He was following his bliss.
Certain emotional feel you get. Oh man, that fits together nice, you know. It's real intangible. You can't put that's why writers are so insecure, you know. You feel like you're never going to be able to write anything else.
See, it was also a leap of faith for these guys.
Talk to me a little bit about the Great Southern Band.
That's
because you put out your first record with the Great Southern Band, maybe like 76, 77 or something. You've been playing this music with your friends on and off for over 30 years. What is it like to get on stage with your friends still and do it?
Well, you know, the Allman Brothers Band, we really got to the point we were pretty dysfunctional. And so it was nice to get back with some fresh guys, you know, that really enjoyed playing and you know, weren't under so much pressure all the time. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been hard work too, you know. We're playing nicer gigs now, but when we first got back, you think you'd go from the Allman Brothers right to Madison Square Garden if you wanted to, but you don't. You have to go back to
basics,
real beer joints, you know.
Which is good. You get that feel back.
Yeah, it's back where it all begins.
Keeps you humble.
Exactly. Talk to me about your son, Dwayne. Because Dwayne is playing with you now. I mean, that has got to feel great.
Yeah,
he looks just like you too.
Oh yeah, well, that's a compliment. He's an awful good player. I mean, he's a beautiful player. He's
obviously
not come into his own yet. He's a hell of a songwriter, and I suppose he's got 30 or 40 songs that he's written, and. They're not exactly what I want to do. We do some of them every now and then, but they're not exactly the kind of stuff that I do. His stuff is a little more modern rock, you know, and so. But I think his day's coming. You're going to hear about him, you know.
He's tremendous. I was seeing some of the stuff he does online, and you guys together, just absolutely beautiful.
A version of. Oh hell, now I won't be able to think of it. Bruce Springsteen's "Dancing in the Dark."
Yeah.
Dwayne does a great version of that, slow version. And my wife knew the Springsteen bunch. You know, they all came up in the same neighborhood, and she said that Bruce was going to record that slow, and. The producer talked him out of it and had him speed it up. So I think we're going to start doing that version.
Oh, nice.
Sing it.
Good contrast.
Dickey Betts and Great Southern, coming soon to a town near you. I know we're going to get another New Jersey date. What is it like to play New Jersey? Because I'll tell you something, New Jersey Southern rock fans have always been big Allman fans and huge Dickey fans.
I'm in New Jersey, too. I married a Jersey girl.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I love this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, she was in the same neighborhood with Bruce Springsteen, so that's over in around the beach, you know.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll see you guys in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, Dickey Betts, man, I just wanted to say to you, thanks for the music, man. The beautiful songs, the amazing music over the years. It was such a treat for me to have the opportunity to sit down with you. Thank you, my friend.
Very nice.
Rock and roll guitar legend Dickey Betts has passed away. The 80-year-old was the co-founder of the Grammy Award-winning band, the Allman Brothers Band, and was a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee. Tonight, I sat down with his longtime manager, who lives in South Euclid, as he reflected on Betts' life and career, not only as a client, but above all, a friend.
It's easy to get lost in the memories that fill David Spiro's South Euclid office.
Ted Neely, who's Jesus Christ and Superstar in the movie.
It's practically a museum of
Spiro's
life work being a manager in the music industry.
The original cast.
And a life-size thank you card from the artists who've joined him on his journey over the decades.
Ringo's been here, you know. It's like, yeah. It's everybody who I work with, you know, this is where we have our meetings.
But there's one particular memory hanging that especially strikes a chord Thursday as Spiro mourns the loss of his longtime friend and client, rock legend Dickey Betts.
I love that picture because that's exactly what our relationship is. It's just joy.
Spiro managed Betts for the last 23 years of his career after his departure from the Allman Brothers Band. Dickey Betts helped define the sound of the Southern rock genre in the 60s and 70s.
His style of guitar playing, kind of a jazz rock mix, no one had ever done that before. And
Betts is also known best for writing and singing the group's biggest hit, Ramblin' Man.
it's really the music world's loss because he was such a front runner in what he did.
Spiro was able to visit Betts in his final days.
We just laughed and laughed and laughed, and then we said goodbye. That I really loved him a lot, and I'm going to miss him terribly.
As Betts' manager, Spiro's afternoon consisted of tying up legalities following his passing. But above all, he's reminiscing.
You have to become a family member. You have to be part of their life.
Spiro wants Dickey Betts' fans to know.
He wasn't in it for the money. He was in it for the pure joy of making other people happy.
Good for you, man.
Betts died at 80 years old after struggling with health-related issues for years. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, as a member of the Allman Brothers Band in 1995.
Okay, this is Jessica. In 1982, UF in 82. What a sweet riff, man. Hey, what's your favorite Dickey Betts tune? Written, created by Dickey Betts. What's your favorite? Let me know. Greg looking cool as shit, as always. It's one of those bands that can become successful with just their instrumentals alone. They're top of that list. I always appreciate a band that has room for the piano or the organ. Listen to that. Tickling those bastards. Fantastic. I always think my dad and old man Rufus are out there somewhere. Fantastic, man. Okay. Ramblin' Man. Old Gray Whistle test in 78.
Lord, I was born a rambling man, trying to make a living and doing the best I can. When it's time for leaving, I hope you'll understand that I was born a rambling man. Daddy was a gambler down in Georgia. He wound up on the wrong end of the gun.
I didn't know Rambling Man was their biggest hit. I always thought it was Whipping Post or Midnight Rambler. Midnight Rider, sorry. Fantastic, man. Fantastic. There you have it, folks. Just a small sample of the greatness and the creative juice of Dickey Betts. Excuse my damn frog in my throat. So, first off, man, I gotta share Wayne's memories about the Allman Brothers Band with you. This shit is really, really something. Started my channel in August of 2018. As I kind of went by, I had Artists of the Month going, and that's when my patrons would vote on who the Artist of the Month should be. And so months and months later, exactly a year and almost a half later, finally the Allman Brothers Band became Artist of the Month. And I was really, really stoked for that, man. I was really excited about that because at that time, a year and a half in, I had a really good wherewithal about classic rock and the parameters of it. And, you know, I was introduced to the Led Zeppelin factor, and I was also introduced to the Southern rock factor. In fact, the very first Artist of the Month was Leonard Skinner. So many months later, the Allman Brothers Band finally became Artist of the Month. And you got to understand something. I didn't realize how influenced I was by Southern rock, how imbrued I was in it. And it turned out that I blamed that on my dad and his best friend's influence on it, and also a lot of my dad's friends from camp. He's a welder pipe fitter, so sometimes he would bring his entire pod back home with him, and these guys would be from all around the world, and they'd have all this music playing. And you know, I mean, I wasn't just sitting there all the time, but I was going back and forth. But along the way, I got a lot of influence there. And so when I started my channel and I started hearing some of this music, I'm saying to myself, there are familiar triggers going on, and where's that from? So finally I realized a lot of it was from my dad's influence. My channel, basically Soul Train Bro, was more so from my mother's influence, because I believed at the time that my mother had a bigger musical influence on me than my dad. But unbeknownst to me, as I got into my channel, I realized, holy cow, you know, my dad's influence had more volume and capacity than even my mom's influence. And so with Southern rock, it really came along at a very, very good time. And I give the Allman Brothers Band and some of the Southern rock artists credit for helping me out with something. And let me get real with you for a minute. When I got into my channel, I just got lit up with all of the anti-war and the political rock songs and stuff like that. And it was the very first thing that I really sunk myself into. I have a very addictive personality, and so I got into this. And I wasn't really seeing it at the time, but my friends were watching me and they were saying, yo, this isn't good with all of this anti-war stuff, because you're reigniting your PTSD, you know? And so being an old service guy and all of this anti-war stuff isn't good. So they introduced me to the Led Zeppelin factor and Southern rock, and it was enough, that focus was enough to shift my focus towards a different direction, which is a good thing, because yeah, like I said, you know, some memories came back and stuff like that, and it wasn't good. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. I would go to bed, and for some reason I had a recurring dream of when I was in the Navy, and we were down in Hawaii, and we were escorting the USS Missouri. She was going up the river. It was her last voyage. And they were shooting some action movie on it at the time. I think it was a Steven Seagal movie. Anyway, they were firing off all 9 of their guns. And when the Missouri, listen to this, man, 1 round is as big as a Volkswagen. Right? 1 round, and they can fire that shit at you from 30 miles off the coast. So when all 9 are going off, yo. So we're on our ship, we're escorting them, they're firing off their rounds, and the reverb would hit you so hard. Some of us actually had bleeding noses. So, and you know, we're like about 300 meters away. So anyway, I would go to sleep, and the guns would be firing off in my head, right? And, you know, I would be jumping in my sleep. And so Monica, my girlfriend, she would say, yo, man, you know, I really think that you gotta start focusing your direction, follow your friends' advice, listen to them, and focus on the Led Zeppelin factor, focus on the Artist of the Month. You've got the Allman Brothers that just made Artist of the Month. Really focus on them. Really sink your talents into it. And I did. I followed her advice. And I was so stoked for the Allman Brothers Band that when they became Artist of the Month, I even took a little bit of time off of work, man, because I wanted to do as much reactions to them as possible. If you were with me way the hell back then, give me a hashtag I am the real shit. Let me know, because it's rare that a lot of any of my subscribers and patrons were with me way back then. So it would be a really cool thing. Let me know who you are. Anyway, I focus so much on the Led Zeppelin reactions, and I focused a lot on Southern rock with the Allman Brothers Band. It really helped to shift my focus. And those nightmares subsided. I get the odd one, because PTSD will be with you forever. But my music reaction channel, I believe, came to me at a time when I really needed it. And Southern rock, discovering Southern rock, and having that kind of thing that binds me to my dad. This was a part of my dad's essence as well. Dad and Rufus. Old man Rufus, rest in peace to you. You drove me crazy sometimes, but you were the real shit, man. So I have a lot of appreciation for these artists, for the creativity of Dickey Betts and Dwayne and Greg Allman. These guys really brought some great music our way. Rambling Man, once I got into the reactions, got into it a little bit deeper along the way in the month, I didn't recognize Rambling Man as an Allman Brothers song. I was surprised. Of course, I knew the song, but I didn't have it in that category. And so I said, wow, but it was kind of like the changing of the guard between Duane Allman and Dickey Betts. And that was his signature sound, I guess. And so I realized, oh my gosh, I didn't know that this was the Allman Brothers Band. So it was a really cool discovery. Anyway, man, I've got so many more things that I could share with you, but I'm not going to take up too much time with it. What I do want to do is, for those of you who don't know me and don't know the format of my channel, what I do is I first, on the front end, check out the artist, hopefully trying not to interrupt the process, and then on the back end is when I do my review. I don't like that bullshit pausing in between. It's the dumbest thing, I think, and I've done enough experimenting and I've determined that pausing all the time doesn't seem to make much of a difference with reactions. I sat down and I actually dedicated, a whole weekend to doing that experiment, and it doesn't seem to make much of a difference. So that's why I don't pause in my reactions. Anyway, what I want to do here, for those of you who are new, is just to do a quick read and introduce you to the artist and the greatness of who this person was and the contributions that he left us with. So, Dickey Betts, man. The great Dickey Betts. Forrest Richard Betts, December 12, 43 to April 18th, 24, was an American guitarist, singer, songwriter, composer, and founding member of the Allman Brothers Band. Early in his career, he collaborated with Duane Allman, introducing melodic twin guitar harmony and counterpoint, which rewrote the rules of how two rock guitarists can work together, completely scrapping the traditional rhythm lead roles to stand toe-to-toe. Following Allman's death in '71, Betts assumed sole guitar duties during the peak of the group's commercial success in the mid-'70s. Betts was the writer and singer on the Allman Brothers hits Rambling Man. He also gained renownship for composing instrumentals, with one appearing on most of the group's albums, including In Memory of Elizabeth Reed and Jessica, which was later used as the theme to Top Gear. And Jessica is the name of his daughter, I believe. The band went through a hiatus in the late '70s, during which time Betts, like many of the other band members, pursued a solo career and side projects under such names as Great Southern and the Dickey Betts Band. The Allman Brothers reformed in '79, with Dan Toller taking the second guitar role alongside Betts. In '82, they broke up a second time, during which time Betts formed the group Betts, Hall, Lavelle, and Trucks, which lasted until '84. A third reformation occurred in '89, with Warren Haynes now joining Betts on guitar. Betts was ousted from the band in 2000 over a conflict regarding his continued drug and alcohol use. He never played with them again, nor would he appear with other former band members for reunions or side projects. With the death of Betts on April 18, 2024, Jamo Johansson is the last living founding member of the Allman Brothers Band. I believe Jamo is now 82. He was inducted with the band into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in '95 and also won a Best Rock Performance Grammy Award with the band for Jessica in '96. Betts was ranked number 58 on Rolling Stone's 100 Greatest Guitarists of All Time. Health and death. In August 2018, Betts suffered a mild stroke and had to cancel upcoming tour dates with his Dickey Betts Band. He was in critical yet stable condition at a Florida hospital following an accident at his home in Osprey, Florida. An operation was planned on September 20th, 2018. He successfully underwent surgery to relieve swelling on his brain. In a statement posted on his website, Betts and his family said, "The outpouring of support from all over the world has been overwhelming and amazing. We are so appreciative." Betts died from cancer and COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, a type of progressive lung disease, at his home in Osprey, Florida, April 18, 2024. He was 80. I love the fact that a lot of these artists continue, even when the spotlight is no longer on them, even when they no longer have a whole bunch of people, interviewers rushing up at them or screaming fans, screaming fangirls, or all of that sort of thing. When all of that stuff is done, many decades later, they're still playing. They're still enjoying the vibe. They're still doing their thing. I love that. And I would wager that maybe that element prolonged Dickey's life, you know, following his bliss, enjoying for the pure joy of what he's doing. That adds years to your life. It certainly doesn't take it away, man. Fantastic. The Southern rock sound is an entity unto itself with a very unique persona. I don't think that there's anybody out there who doesn't like Southern rock. It's not possible. If you are one of those people out there that don't like Southern rock, you're not a friend of mine. You can't be my friend, just so you know. That's how I roll. That is the power and the influence of the great Southern rock sound. It's just sweet to the soul. You know what I'm saying? If the Led Zeppelin factor was not around when my channel was going, it would have probably be replaced by the Southern rock factor. I would have probably been doing a tremendous amount of reactions for every single Southern rock band, name, influencer out there. You know what I'm saying? What else was I going to say? Yeah, you know what I want to do, actually? Instead of me just talking and giving Dickey his props, yeah, this is Jessica. Let me go down into the comments and read what some of you have to say. The world lost one of the greatest guitarists and songwriters today. Rest in peace, Dickey. Rest in peace, Dickey Betts. Thank you for all the music. What a classic. Dickey Betts and Chuck Leavell and Jessica. How these two guys complimented each other. Rest in peace, brother. Who else is here after Jeremy Clarkson's tweet on X stating that Dickey Betts has died? Okay, I guess that was the very first notification. Good night, Dickey. You made my life better with your music. I'm listening to Jessica and I'm crying right now. What a great musician. Rest in peace, Mr. Dickey Betts. I'm 67 and for 56 years, I've been loyal to the Allman Brothers Band. Thank you, Dickey Betts, as your music lives on. Amen. Rest in peace, Dickey. It was one hell of a great run. It certainly was. Damn, this will never get old. Rest easy, rambling man, and thanks. Fantastic, man. That's what this artist means to people. An artist like this, the music that he's created, takes one back to a really cool time in their lives. Look at me, even I, without being raised on classic rock, still have endearing memories of this band and the contributions of this one individual, right? So these rock icons, these influencers, really, I'm telling you, man, from I would say 65 to 85, let's just say the 70s on a whole, that period of music production, music creativity, that juice that came from their creative soul, I think has really permeated our culture. And if you were to put a gun to my head and force me to pick a period of time that I really appreciated for music and classic rock, it would be the 70s, definitely, for me anyway. I know that, you know, the Beatles' influence in the 60s and then some of the great influencers in the 80s are there too, but the 70s altogether collectively has given us some of the best pieces of rock influence, endearing rock influences, things that you can remember about a band. When you first heard the song, you were cruising with your buddy, down the road, checking out some girls on the beach, and there's memories there, you know what I'm saying? So when you hear some of the music today, man, who gives a hell where you were, what you were doing. Nobody remembers that shit. Not even the Gen Zs and the millennials. They're not going to remember anything endearing about the music today. The music from back then came from the soul, came from the heart. It wasn't just something that, yeah, I got this idea, let me just scribble it down and let me try and research a beat. Hey man, you got that beat for me? Yeah, let's put this shit together. To hell with that. And that shit's forgotten about the next week, you know? But music like this, Jessica, hundreds of years later, we're still going to be listening to Jessica, remembering Dickey Betts, remembering the Allman Brothers Band. Music from the soul, that's what I'm talking about. Creativity. Okay, y'all. So, in wrapping it up, again, man, every time we lose one of these great influencers, you think about their contributions, you have memories associated, and you always say to yourself, wow, you know, I wish, everyone is always saying that, I wish music was the way it was back in the day. I wish music today was the way it was back in the day. But you know what? I realize now, especially after doing this reaction channel, that we've got to really hold this stuff dear and hallowed because it's never, ever going to come again. I often joked when I was doing the reactions, the only time that that would ever come again, that there'd be a resurgence of the creative renaissance, as I call it, is if a billionaire like Elon Musk decided to recreate the classic rock genre and the classic rock sound. If I was a billionaire, I would put together, let's say, a panel of 20 bands, give them, you know, the essentials of a classic rock band, you know, drums, guitar, bass, singer, you know, maybe a keyboardist, and say, create, and we're going to have a music competition, you know, and that creative element would really probably spark a new resurgence of interest. You know what I'm talking about? So that's the only way that I can see the rock and roll element recreated. But then again, I'm sure that some of you would argue, no, Wayne, you're wrong. But you know why? Because if they were to do that today, we didn't have the same atmospheric influences as these artists had back in the day. You know, I mean, look at Black Sabbath. When they sing, their anti-war songs have to do with stuff going on around them back in the day, War Pig. So maybe the atmospheric influence might not be the same. And so, of course, the sound and the creative element might not be the same. One might argue, but you know what? If I was a billionaire, I would push forward and I would say, I don't care. I want to see how far we can go anyway and recreate that great rock sound. I reminisce about shit like that. All right, man. Let me just scroll down, see if I got notes. One thing I want to say, guys, two things actually I want to say. Just a quick update to my patrons. Hey, thank you very, very much for still being around. And recently, sadly, the platform has changed things around where we no longer have that connecting community on Patreon as we used to, because we could basically just say hello to each other, chat with each other, and post things, send each other links. And out of its infinite wisdom, Patreon decided to change the platform around. You see, when you're an influencer and when you're creating content, just a single switch of the platform could completely just take away your livelihood, could completely destroy your business. If you're an influencer making 6 figures or even beyond that, from one day to another, your entire platform could be just so changed that your whole life is turned upside down. That's why I have never committed to doing this on a full-time basis, because at any moment in time it could just be pulled out from under me. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's happened to that really nice platform and that connecting fabric that we had with some of the patrons on it. So sorry that that's happened, but you guys can still private message me. I'll check my messages once in a while. Yeah, so there's that. And as well, I just wanted to say too, you guys got to check out Michael Nolan's channel, man. The bottom line. You know, I talk about the wishing that I was around back in the day to have that great knowledge about the creative process, the renaissance of creativity, and all of the good things about the time back then. I don't have that foundational knowledge, but this brother does. So check out his channel, man. One of my favorite channels where it comes to music and stuff like that. Michael Nolan, the bottom line. You're the shit, man. So, the great Dickey Betts. We had him for 80 fantastic years, and sadly that, you know, he did suffer health issues along the way, but all the same, he gave us some really, really fantastic pieces of work, man. And it's gonna live on and on and on. As long as we are still around in a civilized world listening to music, because it's the juice of the soul, we are going to be hearing great music from the Allman Brothers Band and what Dickey Betts has left us. So thank you very much for the music, sir. Rest in peace to you. You're a sweet soul. All right, y'all. I am going to bounce. So hopefully, prayerfully, you're not going to see me anytime soon. And if you do see me again, well, that just means that another legend has passed, and we got to do our due diligence to give them a bit of a tribute. So I'll continue to do that. So thanks very much, Akachita and Albatreni, for the notification of Dickey's passing. And for the rest of you, man, keep listening to this great music. It's hallowed ground, and we're never going to have another creative renaissance like this again, unless you pass the shit on to Elon Musk and tell him to get his butt in gear and create another platform. Anyway, I don't think he's going to be watching my channel, but hey, y'all, thanks very much, man, and keep rocking, all right? I'll talk to you later. Peace.